God in you.
We're on the air. Good evening.
Good evening.
Welcome to the Monday, April 20th, 2009, organizational meeting of the Glendale City Council and Glendale Unified, Glendale College Board of Trustees, City Clerk, and Treasurer. It's not a meeting of all of those, but I think you're all involved tonight. So welcome. And first, let me please apologize for my slight touch of laryngitis this evening. Mr. City Clerk, could you call the roll?
Council members Najarian.
Here.
Quintero.
Here.
Weaver.
Here.
Yusefian.
Here.
Mayor Draymond.
Here. Our flag salute tonight will be led by Councilmember Quintero, followed by an invocation by our City Clerk.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let us pray. And for this evening's prayer, I'd like to read from a poem by Langston Hughes for our inspiration tonight. It is entitled, I Dream a World. I dream a world where man, no other man will scorn, where love will bless the earth and peace its paths adorn. I dream a world where all will know sweet freedom's way, where greed no longer saps the soul, nor avarice blights our day. A world I dream where black or white, whatever race you be, will share the bounties of the earth and every man is free. Where wretchedness will hang its head and joy, like a pearl attend the needs of all mankind, of such I dream my world. Let us pray that this dream will live on as long as hardworking citizens rededicate themselves every election cycle to its creed. May God bless our jewel city and all of its stakeholders. Amen.
Amen.
Mr. City Clerk, could we hear your report, please?
The agenda for the organization meeting of the April 20th, 2009 was posted on Thursday, April 16, 2009 on the bulletin board outside City Hall.
Thank you very much. And our first item?
Our first item is under new business at 4A is City Clerk regarding report of the election and canvass. At A1 is a resolution of the canvass of the vote of the general municipal election held on Tuesday, April 7, 2009, including the UUT ordinance.
Okay, thank you. We might make note that, at least on my agenda, we have skipped over oral communications.
Well, I'm sorry. I apologize.
The mayor's welcome, but let me take care of that right now. Welcome.
There we go.
So, why don't we move on to oral communications?
I do not have any oral communications cards. Are there any submitted? No. I apologize.
That's quite all right. It's miraculous and welcome. That deserves a round of applause. Okay. Well, very good. We should then move on before anyone...
I apologize for skipping over your welcome.
Close oral communications then. Thank you.
And on the new businesses, at 4A is the City Clerk's report on the election and canvass.
Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Yusuf.
At this time, I would like to move 4A1. Second.
I have a motion and a second. I have no speaker cards. Is there any discussion?
Yes. Are all the votes counted, Artie?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
Did we have any hanging Chad?
We do not use Chads in city elections, but...
It was a trick question, I admit. Okay. All right, if there's no further discussion, Mr. Kasakian, if you would, please.
Council members Najarian.
Yes.
Quintero.
Yes.
Weaver.
Aye.
Yusefian.
Aye.
Mayor Draymond.
Yes. All right, our next item, please.
At 5 is the City Clerk. It's the oath of office presented to the Glendale Community College Board of Trustees under 5A. If we can have the newly and duly elected members of the Glendale Community College Board of Trustees please approach the podium.
Where is it? We're missing it. Do we have a copy here?
There we go.
Listen carefully.
Just pay attention.
We'll try not to repeat what happened at the inauguration in Washington, D.C. earlier this year, and I'll try to go very slow. Please raise your right hands. I state your name.
I, Anita Quinones
Gabriel,
Gabrielian,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
the duties upon which I am about to enter.
the duties upon which I am about to enter.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
This is the signing of our life, right, for the next 4 years.
The certificates are for you to keep in the blue folders. I just need these sheets back. And to our newly elected Board of Trustee member, Ms. Ransford, I'd like to also present to you from me a copy of the Constitution of the United States. This is a tradition that I started 2 years ago as city clerk to remind you that the only thing that you took an oath today to defend was the Constitution of the United States. No symbol, no idol, no specific territory or boundary, but the words that are held in this document.
Thank you. Thank you. It says, please state your name for the record. Ann Ransford. Well, I'd like to begin by saying this was a wonderful, wonderful experience. And I shared this before the board at the Board of Trustees meeting. I would like all of you to challenge all of you to do something you've never done before. This is a great challenge. It's a wonderful experience to do something, whatever your thing is, if it's to jump out of airplanes, if it's to make bread, if it's, to run the race, whatever it is, it's a great experience to have a goal and to complete it. So all of you out there in TV land, I challenge you this next year to do something that makes you feel uncomfortable and conquer it. I'd like to begin by thanking all the voters of Glendale for this wonderful honor. I didn't realize I had so many friends out there, and I'm really very, very pleased. I'd like to thank my committee, Carol Geroyan, who was a wonderful, wonderful chair and just always helped me feel so up, and Dr. Davitt and Bhupesh Parikh, who were my honorary chairs, Mike Velasquez, who was my treasurer, and Larry Hansen, who kept all the finances and turned in all those 460 reports and all the reports that needed to be done. I'd like to also thank anyone who did anything to support this campaign. The more than 200 people that provided resources, people that sent out postcards, reminded folks to vote, watched our YouTube video, told their friends, the honor that I received from elected officials and organizations who endorsed me. And I take this as a great honor, and I want to do the very best job I can to continue the wonderful reputation of Glendale Community College, to keep us out in front of the community, and to make us even a more wonderful institution than we are. I'd like to also take this opportunity to introduce my family, my son Derek and his wife Melanie. Yeah, stand up. And my son Derek. Stand up. Derek and his wife Amy have an 11-month-old, so she wasn't able to come today. And they both made a big trek, one from Manhattan Beach and the other one from Newport Beach, so I'm very grateful that they're here. And my good friend Jill Lewis, who joined me too. Thank you, Jill. And finally, this red suit has been my byline on this campaign trail. Mary Boger told me when I took on this challenge, she said, get one outfit so you just can go to the closet, put it on, and be on your way. So I really invested nicely in this red suit. And I just want you to know, you're not going to see it again for a long time. Thank you all very, very much.
Well, good evening, Glendale. Good evening, City Council members. I'm Anita Quiñones Gabrielian, and I am so honored and happy to be here. First of all, congratulations to the returning members, Ara Najarian, Frank Quintero, and to you're going to be joined here later on by Laura Friedman, and congratulations to her and to the school board members and to my colleagues. It has been an incredible campaign, and I want to thank all of my supporters. I am sincerely grateful, and I am very happy that I am back here to serve another 4 years our community college and our entire community. I want to tell you, we work very closely with the school district. We want to work closely with the city as a whole as well. We are partners in making sure that this community is a better place to live. So I hope you know and realize the college is such an essential resource in this community, and I am very happy to serve it. I want to thank everyone who supported me as well, all the elected officials and the organizations. And I tell you, I ran a very grassroots campaign with my father as the treasurer, my husband out there putting lawn signs all over our community, and daughters doing mailings and phone calling, and with the support of wonderful organizations from the city and our elected officials. I thank them from the bottom of my heart, and I love Glendale. I look forward to serving 4 more years. Thank you.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and Councilman. First, I'd like to congratulate Mr. Ara Najarian for receiving the most votes. That was very amazing. Look forward to working with you, and Mr. Yusefian, we know you'll be involved, so we'll miss seeing you there. But I do want to congratulate another female. We've missed a female up there, so we're looking forward to working with you. We love the college, and you would think after 2 terms of running for office, it gets easier. It does not. You still have to work very hard and validate your accomplishments. And I want to thank everyone who voted for me, who supported me, who put up lawn signs, the organizations who endorsed me. So I can't do this without none of us can do this without the help of the community members. We are looking forward to a closer relationship with the city. So next year when we have the State of the City address, hopefully you'll have Glendale College in the video. We were missed this time. So anyway, we're looking forward, and I want to introduce my family who's here. I'm delighted that my 88-year-old mother, who went out there and voted for me, is here. Anelka Gordian. My Aunt Savi, who's been my treasurer and has helped me greatly with my campaign. My daughter, Alina, who's an attorney, is there, and her husband is a doctor, Arbi Nahapetian, is there. My other son-in-law, whose birthday it is today, happy birthday to you. All of Glendale now knows. Corey and Christina. I couldn't have done this without their help, and my darling husband, who really was my campaign manager and the shoulder I cried on when things didn't go well. By the way, we do have some Glendale College folks here. Could you stand up? There's some. Mr. Tony Tartaglia is there. Thank you, Tony, for all your help. And I see Jeanette is there, and I see Jill is there. And these folks didn't have to be here. They could see it on TV, but this is the kind of people This is the kind of people that we have working at GCC. And I see Carol there. Looking forward to working with you, and hopefully you are looking forward to working with us as well. Good luck to all of us.
Ready?
I mean, it's still my
Microphone.
It's still my show? Well, if that's the case, then I'd like to also just mention, I was wondering when I'd hear about the gaffe of not having the College Board of Trustees on the video at the State of the City, because I had heard from all of your colleagues. I hadn't heard from you. Tonight,
I was
I heard
saving it for today.
thank you. All right. Our next item, please.
At B is a recognition of the newly elected members of the Glendale Unified School District Board who were sworn in earlier today. We have members Greg Krikorian, Christine Walters, and Joylene Wagner.
What was the order? B.
You can decide.
Alphabetical?
Alphabetical? Okay. All right, well, we'll start first. Ballot order?
Ballot order.
Vote order? We can do a few things here. Hey, first of all, I want to thank the City Council and specifically our Mayor, John Draymond. You shattered the mold for the past few years. We've developed a great relationship with the City Council, and you've built a bridge with us along with our board president this year, Joylene Wagner, and all of us, because it's an important factor to quality of schools and a relationship that we have with our City Council. So truly, thank you and thank all of your colleagues, because now you set the bar for next year's mayor to continue on this effort of working together. This election cycle was amazing. The biggest endorsement I had was the votes, and the votes show for it. I know there's many ethnic and political organizations out there in unions, and they make decisions, but the voters made the right decision, and it showed with today and the success that we all have. But what's concerning is we have a major issue with this economic crisis, our country does. And right now, all three bodies, the school, the college, and the city, have to work together more than ever. And there's so many opportunities that we could collaborate together to help our families and help our businesses and help our community. As I'll give a plug to Maury's, we just left Maury's restaurant to have a little dinner. So you dine at Maury's Tap and Grill, but dine at all of our restaurants. But the key thing is here is collaboration, cooperation. And John, and a message, special message to Bob Yusefian, the work that you've done the past years for our city and our schools, and the leadership that you've provided for our city, and having the courage to make votes that wasn't popular all the time. We're elected by the people to serve the taxpayers. And as a board member on the Board of Education and working with you while you were a city council member was a true pleasure, because you always had character and integrity. I congratulate Frank for winning and Ada for winning, because we have work still to do. And when you look at life, we have to move egos aside and put our people first. And it's a blessing, because God put us here to do work and to work together. I congratulate Ms. Laura Friedman. When I met with her in the fall this year, we talked about, both of us, what decisions we're going to be making. And the key thing was her willingness to learn about the schools and her willingness to learn about the community. And it's quite refreshing to see her, and no disregard to anyone else that ran. But what she's going to bring for the city, I'm quite encouraged and hopeful for. And I'm quite encouraged by our new colleague that was elected, too, with Christine Walters. Because you're dealt cards, and as the cards the five of us have, the three of us with Nighty and Miss Mary Boger. And we're committed to protect our public schools, protect teachers' jobs. And the one thing I'm definitely committed to is to protect the voters who had the entrust in voting in me. And now I want to thank my family, who's not here. They're home studying, because everyone knows I have a bunch of kids. But my wife, Christine, of 19 years, I'm truly blessed. We met each other in Boston in 1974. We became camp counselors at the camp. We ended up getting married, and I moved to Michigan, and I stayed in Michigan for 1 month being married, and she was only one daughter of a family. I told my mother-in-law, I got to leave. I'm leaving to Glendale. And when we left to Glendale, we met Johnny Davidson and Dolores Ross and Julie Shermer, and we joined the chamber in December of 1989. And now serving the city for 8 years on the Board of Education and having the honor again to serve and having all 5 of my kids born here, I'm truly blessed. Thank you very much. Good luck.
I haven't mastered the art of long speeches yet, so I'm going to keep this really quick. Mostly I want to say thank you. I've been involved with the Glendale schools for 40 years. That's because I started when I was 5. And so I'm very excited now to have graduated to this new position in the city. This was my first time out. The campaign was a definite learning experience, and very, very grateful to be here. Thankful to all of the people who worked on my campaign. I'm not going to name anybody because I will definitely leave somebody out, but so many people who contributed in big ways and small ways. And very thankful to the voters for their confidence, and very excited about working with all of you. And Laura, very excited about working with you. And anyway, so thank you, and I'll see you soon, I hope.
Oh, okay. She gets her Constitution. Oh.
We took our oath, and I would very much like to thank Police Chief Randy Adams, who came and swore us in earlier this evening. It was really an honor. I gave a lot of thanks, and I'll just thank everybody again. Everybody who was active in working to elect members in this city. It's a great community to work in. I've had such a great time. I spoke at our meeting in my president's report about my presidential year, and I paid special tribute to having the pleasure to work as a colleague with Mayor John Draymond, and to enjoy the real collaboration that we've had on a number of events. It really has been a pleasure, and I look forward to our groups continuing. I thanked the college. We had a joint meeting with them, the first joint meeting that we have had since our 2 districts that were once one separated into 2, and we had a joint meeting there, and that was a pleasure. I sometimes sit at that seat on the Arts and Culture Commission, so I'm familiar with this building from that side, and the experiences I've had there, particularly working on Unity Fest and on the Armenian Genocide commemoration events with both Mayor Draymond and with Bob Yusefian, have been really important, tremendously powerful experiences for me, and the opportunity to work with City Manager Starbird, with everybody here. It's just a great community to work with. Scott Howard has been such a help and a friend to our district, and Artie, I'm Mr. Kasakian, and Rita Buchanan, and everybody who got through this election. Aren't you glad it's over? It's a great community. Thank you so much, and it's great to have a moment here. And thanks for this.
Mr. Mayor, I forgot to invite everyone for April 22nd genocide event at Glendale High School. We sent a communique out and was trying to get into Man's Humanity Man Week. And this Wednesday at Glendale High School Auditorium, 7 o'clock, the 5 high schools are participating: Glendale, Hoover High, Crescenta Valley High School, and Clark Magnet High School. And the middle schools are all performing and doing a genocide assembly. So the whole community is invited. It's at Glendale High School. Doors open at 6:30, and program begins at 7. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you so much. Mr. Kasakian, our next item, please.
We can skip over, I guess, comments by these newly elected officials, which was item number 6, and move to number 7, which is recognition of other school officials, family, or friends present. If there's anyone else, I saw College Board member Tony Tartaglia in the back, Nairi Nahabedian of the school board. Right. And if there's anyone else I'm missing.
I don't see anyone.
Okay.
I'm sure we'll read about it in the paper if we don't.
Next item on the agenda would be comments by our outgoing council members.
Mr. Yusefian.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As you know, last Tuesday, I thanked my colleagues for the 8 years that I had worked with them. So Ginger Bremberg told me one thing, God bless her soul. She told me, councils come, councils go. Staff's here forever. So I like to take this opportunity to thank staff, because I did not do that last week. First of all, I'd like to take the opportunity to thank Mr. Starbird that I had an opportunity to work with for the last 8 years. We had few disagreements, but then again, who agrees 100%? But nevertheless, I will say we got a lot accomplished, and especially the year I was mayor, we worked diligently together, and we got a lot of things done. So thank you very much, Jim. Appreciate that very much. Bob McFall, who sit in once in a blue moon for Jim Starbird, but nevertheless, he runs the operations of the organization. So if there were operational issues, I would go to him and I go, this thing is not right, and you know how they pump the gas, it's not done the right way, and he knew exactly how to deal with that. So thank you very much, Bob. Yasmin Beer, who came into this city while I was in the council from the library, and I was kind of going, what does a deputy city manager do? And very quickly learned she does a heck of a lot, and thank you, Yasmin, for all your help and all your work. And let's not forget the man who really keeps this council out of lawsuits and make sure that we keep our comments short. He keeps going like this, and we keep going on. And he makes faces at us. He puts his head down, and that's Scott Howard, our great city attorney. As I said many times, Scott's been our attorney for 32 or 33 years. 32 years. 32 years, and I don't think you can find a better city attorney in the state of California, possibly in the United States. Steve Zern, I had my doubts about Steve when he originally came in. That's right. I'll be very honest with you, but I have become a fan of Steve Zern. This is a man, the minute he finds out what the problem is, within 2 days the problem solved. I think he has put Kerry Morford behind him a long distance away. So, Steve, you do a great job. Thank you very much. Hassan Aghani, who's not here, also sits in here for zoning issues. I want to thank him also. And Rich Wells, who sits there with the camera, but he's our PIO, and he was the one who had the terrible notion of having to call me every time somebody would get hit and get killed, or there was that tragedy at the Metrolink incident. So he called me early in the morning. And every time he would call, and I go, okay, do you have any good news to tell me? Because you only call when there's bad news. But thank you. Somebody had to do that. And I'd like to take an opportunity at this time to thank Artie Kazakian. Artie ran this election. And I want to say, for all those people who wrote emails or wrote articles in the paper, poor Artie was attacked from the Armenian community and the non-Armenian community. He was not doing it right, he was doing it right, and so on and so forth. I will tell you, for someone who has been involved in the city for 8 years, known other city clerks, Artie did a very credible and honest and good job this time running this election. Elections are very difficult to run. They've become more and more difficult as years go by. And for someone to go through the process to make sure that every vote counts, it's a very difficult position. And Artie did a very good job. And at the other point that I want to make is I want to also congratulate Laura. You weren't here. I congratulate you last time for getting elected. I'd just like the public to know, don't look at her as a female council member. Look at her as a very capable, open, willing to listen council member. Her gender is secondary, but her mind is primary. So keep that in mind as you approach her. I know her to be a very open-minded individual. I want to thank all the school board members that I work with over the years, and the college board members also for the last 8 years. This is a team effort. It's not just the council that runs this city. And at the last, Mr. Draymond, I would like to take this opportunity to thank you personally, because I did not do that last week because I knew last week wasn't your last day. This is your last day. So I wanted to thank you as last day as a mayor. Let me make that very clear.
Thank you for that clarification, Mr.
Yes.
Yusefian.
Last day as a mayor.
Yeah, you were tuned in with someone.
No. I've been mayor, and I will tell you, when you are mayor, you barely see your family, you barely see your friends. You spend a lot of time doing a lot of things that people don't have any clue what is going on. And so I want to take this opportunity to thank you. You are a good mayor. Thank you especially when you did allow us to have a free reign for a while and discuss issues. And I think some of the best legislation came out of that. And your ability to know when was the right time to bring us together and take the vote. So I really want to thank you for that. I think your dad and mom will be very proud of you. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for giving me this opportunity, a son of an immigrant who came to this country and was able to achieve his dream, to be a mayor of the city, to be a councilman, and to represent you. Thank you.
Don't run away yet, Mr. Yusefian. There's a couple of people that have a few words with you.
I had nothing to do with that.
That's right, you didn't. The first is from our state assemblyman, Paul Krikorian, and tell you what, I'm going to pass this to my colleague only because of my laryngitis. I have a few outgoing comments to make in a minute, but if you would please, Councilmember Najarian, I would appreciate that.
This is a certificate of recognition from the California State Assembly presented to Bob Yusefian. Congratulations on 8 years of outstanding, dedicated service on the Glendale City Council. Throughout your term in office, you've diligently worked to improve the quality of life in our community. The City of Glendale has benefited from your vision and leadership. Signed, Paul Krikorian, 43rd District State Assembly.
And I have one from Senator Carol Liu, and it says, on behalf of the California State Senate, I thank you for your many years of hard work and selfless dedication to civic life. Your tireless commitment to public service and to the city of Glendale is greatly appreciated. Glendale was truly fortunate to have a leader who demonstrated both active compassion and a true commitment toward enriching the lives of others. I wish you the best in your future endeavors. And it's signed, Carol Liu, State Senator.
So, Mr. Yusefian, as my parents would say, don't be a stranger. Okay?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Am I excused now?
I believe so. Thank you.
Thank you very
again,
much.
Mr. Yusefian.
Thank you again.
Mr. Kazaki.
Mr. Mayor, we, at this point in the agenda, can take a brief recess if there is anyone that wishes to leave. I know that some of our other officials have other important duties and meetings to attend to, so we have that prerogative if you so
Ladies and
wish.
gentlemen, here's something you don't often hear from the chair. How do you feel about it?
Fine.
They're fine. All right.
Dinner's waiting.
Mr. Kazaki, then
Okay.
let's press on.
Next item is the oath of office to newly elected city officers, and we apologize for that Scribner's error. And that first is city clerk.
Very good.
You got a mirror?
I'd like to invite Rita Buchanan, our Assistant City Clerk. Please come forward to administer the oath of office. That's out here.
First time he's listening to you.
I don't know if you heard that, ladies and gentlemen. Ms. Buchanan just told Artie, you go over there.
Raise your right hand. I'm sorry. I pronounce your name.
I, Artie Ardashes Kasakian,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution
of the United States and
Of
the
the-
Constitution of the State of
of
California,
the United States and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I'm about to enter.
and that I will well and faithfully discharge upon the duties upon which I am about to enter.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I would like to say a few words at this time. Just want to, first of all, take note of the fact that today is Patriots' Day. And for those of us from back east, this is a very special day for a couple of reasons. It marks the anniversary of the battles of Lexington and Concord. And also means that if the Red Sox lose, it's going to be a long baseball season. Fortunately for us today, they won. They beat the Baltimore Orioles. Handily, I might add. I am humbled by this honor to serve another 4 years as a city clerk of Glendale. 4 years ago, when I took the oath of office, I pledged to be the clerk of all Glendale. I quoted the great Armenian poet Vahan Tekeyan as I urged our council and other elected officials and our citizenry to, quote, rise to new heights of success and raise others with them upon their ascent. 4 years passed all too quickly. There's little opportunity for reflection or to rest on any laurels, as we must roll up our sleeves and look ahead to the next 4 years of service to the public in the face of increasingly difficult economic times and political pressures that often accompany financial turbulence. I promise to continue to work for the entire city in ensuring that the city clerk's office remains the gateway to City Hall and access point for the public to their elected and appointed public servants. We will continue to seek ways to incorporate readily available and widely used technological advances to make our operations more efficient and user-friendly. We will continue our efforts to reach out to the public schools and college students in efforts to recruit poll workers, interns, and provide our future leaders a better understanding of their local government. I will, as I have been from my first day in office, be responsible to the citizenry of Glendale who has granted me this opportunity. That background music was planned. It was supposed to be more patriotic, but sorry. I'd like to thank again the citizenry of Glendale who has granted me this opportunity. They are the only interest in the city who matters. And although members of our citizenry and stakeholders may have different backgrounds, different jobs, careers, different names or ethnic origin, personal interests, or different reasons for engaging our local government, we must not only never forget, but regularly remind ourselves that this system by which we govern ourselves works only because the electorate makes it so. One public comment, one opinion, and one vote at a time. It is to this mission of protecting this right for every eligible citizen to cast a ballot and have that ballot counted that I rededicate myself to tonight by taking this oath. We will seek to continuously look for ways to improve our operations and ascend to new heights. I hope the next 4 years we will all earnestly welcome and take advantage of all opportunities that will help bind this community together rather than tear us apart. After all, we do have a more perfect union today than the one that our founding fathers founded over 2 centuries ago, one in which women have the right to vote, one in which the rights of the working class are protected, one in which people of different races, religions, and creeds have the same opportunities. It is because every time an obstacle has risen before Americans and threatened our democracy, Americans have taken to the polls and through their votes brought about real change. Though some may say that our democracy is not perfect, the tools with which to make it so are at our disposal. I'd like to close by referencing the poem that I read at today's invocation by the African-American poet Langston Hughes, who, having witnessed discrimination in his lifetime and experienced it firsthand, still found enough hope in this, our United States of America, to pen this poem of hope triumphant. And I apologize to quote the Scottish poet Robert Burns, oftentimes the best laid plans of mice and men oft go awry. We were hoping to have an invocator, but I had to borrow from my oath speech this evening to give our invocation. So I will read this poem again for those of us just tuning in. It is I Dream a World by Langston Hughes. I dream a world where man no other man will scorn, where love will bless the earth and peace its paths adorn. I dream a world where all will know sweet freedom's way, where greed no longer saps the soul, nor avarice blights our day. A world I dream where black or white, whatever race you be, will share the bounties of the earth, and every man is free. Where wretchedness will hang its head, and joy like a pearl attends the needs of all mankind. Of such I dream my world. Again, Langston Hughes is one of my favorite poems, one of the greats from the Harlem Renaissance, and this dream will live on, again, as long as hardworking people in Glendale turn out to the polls. May God bless our Jewel City and all of its stakeholders, and from the bottom of my heart to everyone who's supported me and who's helped me, to city staff and to everyone else, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kasakian, and thank you to Rita Buchanan for administering the oath. All right. That brings us to our city treasurer.
Raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Ronald Barucki,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
upon which I am about to enter.
of which I am about to enter.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you, Mr. City Clerk. Just a few brief remarks. I know a lot of people are watching, waiting for the important players to come up. As far as I'm concerned, let me first start by let me introduce my wife, the one who suffered with me through the dog days of the campaign, Mary Jane. I think, to keep the remarks brief, I'm very pleased to the voters of the city of Glendale for this opportunity. Quite frankly, I'm very relieved, very pleased that this never-ending treasurer's campaign race has finally come to an end. I'm very, very proud to be elected and to serve the people of Glendale for another term. Thank you very much.
Mr. Kasakian, it would appear that we have 3 council members to be sworn
Yes.
in.
And in the order upon of which they were on the ballot, we have Council Members Quintero, Laura Friedman, now Council Member-elect Laura Friedman, and Council Member James Najarian.
Would all please come forward?
Please raise your right hands and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Laura Friedman,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter.
discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter.
Congratulations.
That's it. You're all 3 stuck now.
Thank you.
Maria. Sakian, it looks like our new council is seated. So our next item would be...
Our next item would be comments by the newly elected or re-elected officials.
All right. Let me start with my colleague on the far right of the dais. I've never had the opportunity to say this before, ladies and gentlemen. Council member Laura Friedman.
Thank you. Thank you all. I sit here before you today with much humility and appreciation of this special opportunity to serve the citizens of Glendale as a member of the City Council. I owe this honor to the hard work, dedication, and phenomenal spirit of volunteerism demonstrated over the last few months by the many members of the community who worked on my campaign. Words cannot describe how much I appreciate the friendships that have been formed during this campaign and the support given to me by the citizens of Glendale. There are far too many friends and organizations who shared their time, resources, and wisdom to thank everybody here. But I would be remiss not to acknowledge my husband, Guillaume Lemoine, who supported me and pushed me forward along this road. I also would like to thank my very dear friends, Elaine Wilkerson and Arlene Vidor, who were by my side throughout this journey. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. I owe a special debt to the women council members who have served our city. Eileen Givens, Ginger Bremberg, Mary Ann Plumley, Zelma Bogue, and especially Ann Patrick Bartlett, who in 1920 was Glendale's first councilwoman. It was these leaders who made it possible for me to have the honor of serving on City Council, and I am very proud to continue their legacy of civic involvement. Mr. Weaver, Mr. Quintero, Mr. Najarian, and Mayor Draymond, I am looking forward to a conscientious, respectful, and productive working relationship. Mr. Yusefian, you served Glendale diligently. I will aspire to match your thoroughness and your relentless attention to detail. To the candidates who sought this office, each and every one of you brought something of tremendous value to Glendale's civic dialogue. It is my sincere hope that you continue to generate fresh ideas and perspectives, and that you work alongside Council to make Glendale a better place. To the citizens of Glendale, I promise dedication and thoughtfulness in addressing the many challenges facing Glendale, one of the most dynamic cities in California as well as the United States of America. I am very excited to assume this new role, and I'm confident that with your continued support, we can do great things in Glendale. Thank you all very, very much.
Councilmember Najarian.
I also would like to say just a few words. I don't have anything prepared, and you've probably heard me speak too many times in the last 4 years and during the campaign trail. I would like to, first off, extend hearty thanks to my wife, Darlene, my sons, Alexander and Christopher, who are all spiffed up today in a suit. Why don't you stand up, boys? Thank you. To the rest of my family, my mom and dad, who you have probably seen on the campaign trail, my brother Rafi and his fiancee Arda, my sister Mauro and her husband Steve, my brother Armin and his wife Naira, my nephews Vahe, Daniel, and Daron. The boy, little boy is sleeping. Okay, but it was a great. It was a great effort, and it took a lot of effort. I want everyone to know exactly, it is a lot of work to run for council. It is a lot of work that sometimes starts, I know Laura perhaps started 6 months ago in early, maybe even longer, early summer. The rest of us slowpokes got probably our wheels underway in December, January. It takes a lot of work. It's a big imposition on your family. It's a big imposition on your personal life, on your day job, and I do like to say that I am still practicing law. It's more of a hobby, though, right now. Glendale is a great city, continuing on Laura's theme. We are so fortunate. Let's never take what we have for granted, but rather let's work together to make it an even better city than it is. That's been my theme starting 4 years ago, throughout the 4 years on the dais, and I think we should, all of us together, who's ever sitting up here representing you as council members or mayor, always take that theme and move forward. Glendale is envied by many other cities. It is a jewel city, and sometimes when you're so close to something, you really don't have the opportunity to appreciate how good it is. Let's take a step back and let's appreciate everything we have, but let's redouble our efforts to make it an even better place to live and to work. And during the campaign, I told everyone that, well, if I'm elected, you're not only getting a city councilman, but you're also getting possibly an MTA chair. And I'm happy to let everyone know that, seeing the results of the election last week, there seems to be a consensus, not an official consensus or a seriatim meeting of the MTA board, but it looks like I will be MTA chairman starting in July. And to that effect, to that end, I think we can always. We'll just have one more person in a different forum to even bring better things home back to Glendale. So I thank everyone for their support, and let's have a great 4 years.
Councilmember Quintero.
I will also try and be brief. Let me start by thanking the voters of Glendale, who for the third time felt that my judgment and ideas were worthy of 4 more years. I want to specifically thank my campaign team and the supporters, many of whom are in the audience tonight. Without supporters, without campaign teams, as I call them, you just can't win an election, period. You can't do it alone. And my elections and my campaigns are always fun. We always have the best food. I always make sure that it was all about Rafi's kebabs, Zanku chicken, and Portos. So anyway, we had a great time, and it's kind of interesting because through the campaign, people always say, "Aren't you tired? Don't you hate this?" Well, I really don't. I enjoy it a lot because you get to meet so many people that you wouldn't ordinarily meet. You get to hear ideas and complaints. And one of the things that I always encourage my people to do, whether they were knocking on doors or what they were doing, the minute that person at the door had a complaint, not about the election, or about the candidates, but about something relating to city or city policy, let me know. Let me know so I can call them and talk to them. Some of the people that made calls for me are nodding their heads up and down. But anyway, it was a great campaign. I want to introduce my number one campaign worker, my wife of 39 years, Janie, who's in the audience. Hopefully we're going to spend our 40th anniversary in northern Spain, but we'll see. And our son Frankie, unfortunately, is traveling, so he couldn't be with us tonight. But we have a lot to do in these coming 4 years. We live in a great place, but there are some tough times ahead of us. Obviously, the economy, everyone reads the paper and watches CNN, so we've got a lot of different issues we're going to be dealing with. And then some of the old favorites like land use issues, parks, police, and fire, so we've got our work cut out for us. But I think we've got the right council. Certainly for the next 2 years, we have the right council, and I think we're going to make the kind of changes that need to be made and follow on the same path that we've been following for a number of years. So I want to thank you all, and I'm looking forward to serving you once again. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen. Mr. Kasakian, our next item.
That would be you, Mr. Mayor Draymond, and that's your parting comments.
Did you ever have to give a speech you just couldn't wait to give? I'm just teasing. To be very honest with you, it was this morning that I realized, looking at this agenda, that I had to give an outgoing speech. So I have put a few comments together, and they are heartfelt. And I'm, if it were not, I would rest my my tonsils and let it go at that. But I do want to take this opportunity to say a few words. First of all, I want to thank all of you. I want to thank all of you for your attendance tonight and your attendance at meetings over the last year, for your support, and of course your participation in the betterment of this wonderful, dynamic, and vibrant city. For the last year, I have started my comments at every speaking engagement with the following words. It is a pleasure to be here. It is a privilege to serve as an elected official from the city of Glendale, my hometown, and an honor to do so as your mayor. To my fellow council members, Mr. Weaver, Mr. Najarian, Mr. Quintero, and my former colleague, Mr. Yusefian, I thank you, gentlemen, for honoring me with your confidence to serve as mayor in the last term, and I thank you for your dedicated service to all of our constituents. Your belief in an open process of debate and your willingness to tackle any topic, no matter how politically uncomfortable, personally difficult, or taboo, that takes courage, gentlemen, and that takes strength of character, and all of us applaud you. Ladies and gentlemen, I am proud to have had the honor of leading our city at this time in our history. In Glendale and in cities across the nation, we are increasingly facing the difficult task of providing essential services to our residents and business community while making the challenging economic adjustments necessary to keep Glendale competitive, to maintain the quality of life we can all be proud of, and to keep our community safe, and in short, to keep faith with those who live in our city and work here, whose children go to school in our Glendale schools, and of course, our Glendale Community College, and who reinvest their time and their goodwill and their personal resources in their neighborhoods every day simply to build a better life for themselves and their families. To these people who are our neighbors, let us continue to pledge our collective advocacy, not because it's the politically expedient thing to do, but because it's the right and fair and decent thing for all public servants to do. We as a council don't sit here alone on the dais tonight with our successes over the last year, whatever we might imagine them to be, or our struggles over public policy, our opinion as to what our city represents, or our vision of Glendale, what it can be or could be or should be in the future. As an elected official, and I'm proud to say, 52nd mayor of Glendale, I am, as all of you are, a part of the arc of this city's history. We stand here in good company with those who came before us, those ladies and gentlemen whose photographs are on the wall up there. They met the challenges of their day, and they crafted our city's traditions and have left us, as their legacy, a civic heritage of thoughtful and courageous vision. You, as citizens, supporters, and partners, have given me as much encouragement as any leader could hope for. It has been a strong partnership, and we have seen positive movement forward on so many levels. And yet, Glendale has not reached the limits of its greatness. Our city, with its deep historical roots, the strength of our diversity, the beauty of our mountains and canyons, the blossoming of our artistic and cultural creativity, the dynamism of our business community, and the sheer dynamism of our people coalesce to make Glendale a unique and formidable city with truly unlimited potential. The strength of our city lies in its tradition of caring for those in need. It lies in the tradition of providing needed services reliably and dependably. And my colleagues have striven to do just that. It lies in our ability to meet new challenges on behalf of our citizens, to feed their imaginations and their creativity, their educational needs, to facilitate their entrepreneurial spirit. In short, the strength of our city lies in our desire to keep pace and keep faith with our citizens, to afford them the best quality of life we are able. Let me share this final observation with you about Glendale's future. Nothing is inevitable, and Glendale has always taken its own path. This is not to diminish the cruelty of a difficult economy, but we will continue as a city together to attack our city's problems in the way Glendale has always reacted to difficult times. We fight back. We take pride in what we do right, and we cast aside what we do wrong and seek a new direction. We reach out to those in our neighborhoods who are in trouble, and we make their problems ours. We carry the message that Glendale is a community in good times and in bad. It has been said of those in elected office, and I can't recall who said it, but it's been said that time slips away, stealing our plans, erasing our words, ridiculing our urgency. We struggle to complete the task in our allotted time. Inevitably, we peel back one layer of need, and there is another. A great city, and please make no mistake, Glendale is a great city, has many needs, but affords all of us so many blessings. So as this term ends, let us remember, as elected officials, city staff, as advocates, as community leaders, that we are judged not by what we did not accomplish, but by what we were able to achieve together. I hope each of you takes pride in your individual role, past, present, and future in the arc of our local history. We are a big, successful, and prosperous city with the most prosperous of futures. And there's one other thing, this added little extra. We care for each other, and we strive to live in harmony. We work as friends and neighbors with united purpose. When visitors come to Glendale, they inevitably want to live here, and those of us who live here are glad we do. I thank you for allowing me to serve you as your mayor in this last year, and I wish you God's blessings, and I thank you. Thank you very much. Well, Mr. Kasakian, this is a moment, ladies and gentlemen, that comes once every 2 years. And that is when I get to peel off the target and turn it over to the next individual, and I'm happy to say either councilman or councilwoman, in this case. And I get to turn over the meeting to our city clerk, Artie Kasakian.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is the time provided by the municipal code, and that section is 2.04.020 for the selection of one of the council members to be mayor for the following year. I will now, the business before the council is the selection of the mayor. I will now entertain nominations for that office. Councilman
I'm interested, Frank Quintero.
I'd like to put my name in too.
I'd like to nominate Laura Friedman for the position of mayor of the city of Glendale.
Conference.
First conference of the term.
Are there any further nominations for the office of mayor? Okay. Hearing none, we can proceed with the roll call. Now there's two ways. Yes, I'm sorry.
My comment is I am very honored that you have nominated me. I appreciate the vote of confidence. However, I feel that I should learn to be a good council member before I try to be a good mayor.
I'm going to defer right now to our resident umpire, Scott Howard, who's going to tell us a few of the rules as to how we'll play this game.
The first question, I guess, I thought I heard, but I don't want to put words in any council member's mouth, and that was a possible decline of the nomination.
Correct.
So we have two nominees now. Any further nominations?
Well, I hate to take exception with our esteemed city attorney, but that is the opposite direction from 2 years ago, sir. And I watched that. I don't know if Councilmember Yusefian is still in the audience, but I'm sure that he will vouch for me on this, because he has a memory like a... Thank you. According to you, Mr. City Attorney, in 2007, you can decline the nomination, but it remains an active nomination unless the maker of the nomination rescinds the nomination according to...
That was going to be my next question.
Robert's Rules of Order.
That was next.
That was going to be my next question.
Very good.
To turn to the nominator and ask if he would withdraw the nomination. And if not, we have then essentially two methods of which to vote.
I will not withdraw the nomination of Laura Friedman. I think she'll be an excellent mayor.
Mr. Howard, would you like to explain how we can do the
With that, there
roll
are two methods by which this council can choose to vote. One is to have the city clerk call the roll, and in the traditional fashion, in the order of the nominations, and then council would vote for each nominee as the roll is called, or alternatively, as the roll is called, the council members, as the roll is called, can state their preference by name of the individual to whom they prefer to be appointed as mayor, and as soon as that individual, because we have multiple nominations, reaches a majority, that individual will be the mayor.
So you're seeking a consensus then?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Mr. Kasakian, you are running
Well,
the meeting.
my preference would be to take each nomination in order and do a yay or nay, as is customary with most of our other votes here on the council.
May I express an opposing view?
Certainly.
I would like to, rather than have 3 separate votes, I would, and because even if it's symbolically, I do not prefer to vote no on any of my colleagues.
Certainly.
To take them as a group, as we've done in the last at least two elections for mayor, and just let individual council members express their preference.
Your consensus amongst the council to do that?
Yes.
I agree with
Looks like there is.
I'm glad you do, Councilmember Najarian, because it was your suggestion in 2007.
Okay. Well, in that case, what we'll do is we'll read the roll, and it will be done in alphabetical order, which makes you the first person. Councilmember Draymond?
2 years ago, I abstained. I will not do that tonight. But I would like to explain my vote, and I've been looking at this. I also know that under Robert's rules, I have the right to do that. And I assumed that two of our longstanding council members, Mr. Weaver and Mr. Quintero, would be nominated tonight to run for mayor. Neither of them, Mr. Quintero has not served as mayor for considerable time. Mr. Weaver has served in 2005. I appreciate and respect both of these gentlemen, and yet I have to choose between them or go a different route or a different direction. I thought about this and thought about this and thought about this, and I even got to the point where arriving here tonight, I'll just let everyone in on it. I didn't park in my parking space tonight as a mayor. I parked in another space to see who might park in my space. And it was,
parking space trap. Huh?
We didn't.
I think Artie parked in that spot.
and I also know that whatever happens up here on the dais, someone may be disappointed. So, for the moment, I am going to cast my vote. Oh, and one other thing, historically, I'm sorry. Historically, it was pointed out in the last 106 years of this city's history, we have had, Ms. Friedman represents our 6th, I believe, councilwoman, female council member, elected, 5 of whom have been mayor, and no one on this dais, with the exception of Mr. Weaver, has had the opportunity to vote for a female council member. So I'm going to cast my vote for Laura Friedman.
Councilmember Friedman.
Well, I didn't park in your spot. No. I don't feel that I'm qualified to be mayor as yet. Both Mr. Quintero and Mr. Weaver, I have the utmost respect for both of them. I have no preference over which one is mayor. I would like to see both of them serve as I'm here as mayor. My vote is only going to reflect timing and nothing else. Given that Mr. Weaver is up for re-election next year and may or may not choose to run again, I'm going to support him for mayor because it may be the last time he can be mayor, and I believe that they're both equally qualified.
Councilmember Najarian.
Well, I have the greatest respect for both of my male colleagues. They've done a fine job. But I'm going to sort of pull back the curtain here, a la Wizard of Oz. Being a mayor, 50% of it is ceremonial, folks. Being there, cutting the ribbon, standing up, and putting the face on the city of Glendale is half the job. The other half is running the meeting, sitting up here. And in that regard, I have personally seen Laura Friedman run the DRB, faced with the contentious types of issues that we don't want to see up here on council. We've stated that several times. Why don't you DRB members take care of it? We've given Ms. Friedman and her board the tough issues. I think she's fully qualified. Obviously, I can understand her trepidation, all of a sudden she's council person, now perhaps mayor, but I'd like to tell you, Laura, you can do a great job. The city, the residents of the city of Glendale have spoken out for change. What better way to give them that change is to elect Laura Friedman as the mayor, and I promise that any help you might need that I have, that I could assist you in, I'm more than happy to assist you in any particular manner. So my vote is for Laura Friedman.
Councilmember Quintero.
I'm obviously interested in serving, so I'll vote for myself.
Councilmember Weaver.
Well, I think I'll vote for myself. This reason, with the truism, the current policy is that if you're running for re-election, which I am doing next time, you cannot be serving as mayor. So next year is out for me. So, yes, I am voting for myself.
We have a statistical tie.
We do not have a majority.
We do not have a majority for any member.
Something similar to what occurred 4 years ago, as I recall. 2 years ago, I'm sorry.
We can...
2 years ago.
Mr. Howard, how should we proceed?
Under our
should we
charter,
reopen?
tie votes get carried from agenda to agenda unless someone would like to make a motion to reconsider.
Councilmember Draymond.
I will make a motion to reconsider. There is a second.
Second.
Okay.
So, Mr. Kasakian, we have a motion and a second. Does that allow us to then have some discussion?
Yes.
Yes, please proceed.
Okay. I didn't say I wanted to have discussion. I just said...
Then whoever wishes to.
All right. Let me turn to my colleague, Ms. Friedman, then. Is it you're determined that you're not going to serve, I take it?
Yeah, I won't be voting for myself.
All right. All right. Thank you. That is my question.
Is there any other discussion before
we open the nominations again?
Well, we're going to take a roll on the motion to reconsider.
Yes, sir.
Councilmembers Raymond,
Yes.
Friedman,
Yes.
Najarian,
No.
Quintero,
Yes.
Weaver.
Aye.
Okay. We can now reopen the nominations.
So we are now back where we started.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Quintero and Mr. Weaver would like to renominate themselves.
I'm still interested.
So, Councilmember Weaver, you are nominating yourself. Councilmember Quintero, you are nominating yourself.
Are
Understood.
the nominations taken off the table, or only the vote on? I don't think those come off the table.
Actually, you're right. Technically, the only thing that was reconsidered was the vote. Nominations don't require a vote. So it was just the vote that was taken off the table. You are correct.
So nominations are still on the table?
Nominations are still on the table, same 3 that were originally nominated.
I can go through. I will proceed to go through the roll. Councilmember Draymond?
Well, that being the case, then, I will vote for Councilmember Quintero, and I'd also like to ask my colleagues to make it a unanimous vote.
Councilmember Friedman?
I'd also like to see a unanimous vote, so I'll vote for Councilmember Quintero.
Councilmember Najarian?
I really do believe Ms. Friedman would do a great job. Councilman Quintero has been a trusted colleague throughout, but I do, the message of change is resounding in my ears quite loudly. I would vote for Ms. Friedman.
Okay. Councilmember Quintero?
Quintero.
Councilmember Weaver?
Aye.
For yourself? Oh, for Councilmember Quintero?
Yes.
Okay. I now declare Councilmember Quintero the duly elected mayor of the city of Glendale.
there. Okay. The first order of business is a plaque to John Draymond, in appreciation for your distinguished leadership as mayor of Glendale, April 2008 to April 2009. Well deserved.
Thank you.
Well, let me just say, hopefully in the coming year, there won't be so much political theater and or kabuki. That's what the Japanese call it. And we'll just settle down and get on with the business at hand, which, as everyone on this dais understands, and so does the public, is basically dealing with the issues that the city of Glendale is going to have to deal with. But I'm very pleased to serve as mayor. I really forgot when I was mayor last. It was 2003, and that was a rather tumultuous time in the city's history. Hopefully this year is going to be a lot smoother. We're going to get our goals accomplished working with the staff and all of the residents of the city of Glendale. So that's all I have to say for the evening. What's next?
Move we adjourn.
Next is a motion to adjourn. We have a motion. Is there a second?
Yes, second.
We are adjourned. Thank you.